not in the budget. Just then, at least in my mind, I can see the paralyzed man groan in pain. They all look at him, see his need, and immediately remember why they are here, to bring him to Jesus. This puts it all in perspective. And they started digging. They lowered the man to Jesus where he was healed. You see, they found a creative solution to the problem. Especially today, we need to be open to finding creative solutions if we're going to influence our communities. A Jamaican lady that attended the church I pastored loved to share her faith. She had just moved into a high-rise building and began to talk to a neighbor about the Lord. The neighbor was offended and responded to her by calling the superintendent and complaining. The superintendent told her that there is no soliciting in this building and that if she did it again, she would be evicted. Instead of just grumbling and giving up, the Jamaican lady prayed and came up with a creative solution, which I call elevator evangelism. She got in the elevator and traveled up and down all day, and in the process, got to meet almost everyone in the building. She met the people taking their dog for a walk, others going to the hospital. She got to know the children, helped others bring their groceries in. About a month later, she had a home group meeting in her apartment. Guess who came to it? Almost everybody in the building. If you want creative outreach ideas, you can, by the way, visit our website, www.celebration2006.ca. So, how can we get the new ideas we need? Here are a few suggestions. A, pray for creativity. B, welcome ideas, even crazy ones. C, gather a creative team. D, do trial runs. E, take calculated risks. F, know that people resist making holes in roofs, so be prepared for opposition. 7, celebrate exuberantly. The story in Mark chapter 2 does not say this, but I believe that they must have celebrated. Do you think that these people told their grandchildren about this adventure? Do you think that they ever forgot looking down through the hole and seeing Jesus looking into their eyes? The religious in the crowd were probably upset at them for making a hole in a roof, but Jesus wasn't. In fact, it says in verse 5, when Jesus saw their faith, notice it says their faith, not his faith. Jesus was clearly pleased with what these people did. The impact was tremendous. The man was healed, the crowd amazed and praising God, all because of the actions of these few men, actions that any one of us could do. No special gifts, courage, talent, looks, resources, or anything were required to bring this man to Jesus. Just a simple plan that had such a profound influence that we are reading about it today, 2,000 years after it happened. What a spiritual impact do you think it had on the village? Do you think this event changed the 4 that took him to Jesus? Do you think that he was the only one they ever took to Jesus? I doubt it. Once you have been an instrument that God has used to influence others, you're going to be hooked for life. Here are some ideas of what we can do to keep our enthusiasm alive. A, give testimonies. Tell often the stories of lives that have been changed and people helped through your ministry, always giving the glory to God. B, write reports in letters, bulletins, newsletters, etc. Tell the stories and recognize the heroes that helped make it happen. C, intentionally help people become disciples of Christ, because that is our bottom line. D, talk about the next plan to impact your community. So to recap, to plan your influence, we need to, number 1, become aware of real needs. Number 2, build a fresh vision. Number 3, make a thoughtful plan. Number 4, invite others to be involved. Number 5, take action. Number 6, think creatively. And number 7, celebrate exuberantly. I've left the most important element out until now. You cannot successfully plan your influence without being full of the love of God. People can see through phony actions and self-serving motives. In fact, to a great degree, the church in Canada has lost its credibility in many communities because of this very thing. But God's love is powerful in tearing down barriers and building bridges. My heart is softened whenever I recall the story I heard years ago of a godly young missionary who went to a university campus and began to witness about his faith with a student. Immediately, the woman said, "I don't want to hear about your blankety blank God. I hate God, don't want anything to do with Jesus." The young missionary was shocked and taken aback by the bitterness in her voice and the anger on her face, and not knowing what to do next, the missionary mumbled, "Can I pray for you?" Now it was a woman's turn to be shocked. No one had ever asked her that. So she said, "Yes, let's see you pray," and she crossed her arms in a defiant stance. The young man bowed his head and began to pray that she would discover how much God loved her, for release from the pain and hurt that she had obviously suffered in her life, that she find the forgiveness and the freedom and the deep peace of heart that only Jesus can bring. And as he prayed, unashamedly, he shed tears for her. When he had finished, he half expected that she would have moved on, but to his amazement, she was still standing there, and now she was crying too. Through tears, the lady said, "In all my life, no one has ever cared enough about me to pray for me, let alone to cry for me. Tell me about Jesus." The love of God, expressed through people like you and me, is what will influence our world much faster than better arguments, methods, or the latest programs. Genuine love is irresistible. May His love be your driving force as you plan your influence. God bless you in your ministry.